128 casters come down to the final two. We have Julian facing off with Daimax in the 128 player Webcam Premier Tournament Finals. Julian chose to go second. That's the first time we've had that happen on stream today. And it looks like we do have time on the round. So we have 1 hour for this one. Julian choosing to go second could either be a hard call by Julian, or is trying to play on the aggressive side, being unsure of what Daimax is playing this entire time. Which, again, we have yet to see Daimax until now. So the expenditure of Illuminate right now does kind of lead into what Daimax is playing.
Potentially, and just not choosing to go with much information or expenditure all set into an Elechic. Julian feeling pretty good about that. Just go in and grab that Zeus if it resolves. Gotta love to see it.
Oh yeah, Elechic Zeus is always potent because that means that most of your Elestrals under 7 is threatened. Absolutely under 6 is threatened by Elechic and Zeus being on field. So you got to be mindful of it. You're going to take an extra point of spirit damage here as well. Daimax being at 19 now, going down to 18 if the attack does connect.
But as we've seen from these early games, sometimes just those extra cards can matter. That the early game, especially if you don't have maybe like a rabbit, just expend a draw, grab some resources, you can easily swing the game back in your favor. Especially if both of these casters are on Argo. We might see a game of Argo Chicken again.
You never know. What is it? Early game of Elestrals is absolutely just a pace lap. We're trying to figure out who's doing at what speed. We're getting the feel for the game, filling each other out for their plays and what they're prioritizing. Nothing really matters until the mid game. We have our Loon being spent from Daimax as well for the damage. In Exaltus?
What are we seeing from Daimax?
I don't think I've ever seen Daimax cast Exaltus ever.
Okay, this raises the question, what search targets could Exaltus be fighting? Obviously, there's a bunch of 1 costs, but you have to ask the question, are there going to be some of those 3-cost ethereal Elestrals that we might see coming out in this game?
Ethereals are one of the most plentiful types in the game right now, so I would not be surprised to see it. So then it's just like, what are you going to cast? Are you going to pull out a Jatara? Are you going for a full Nexus strategy? Are you going to search out a Lustragon, a Heliolith, I mean, insert Solar here, you know?
Celestlio, finally?
Celestlio, I have no idea.
That'd be crazy. But getting back into what's going on in the game, we've got Julian casting out a Rabbit just to kind of get some extra cards, staying low to the ground as Julian's deck really likes to do. But we see the Cryoblast just saying, no, I'm not going to have to deal with that.
Yeah. That's one of the worst parts about these Elestrals with 2 defense, the small ones, is that they're just Cryoblast bait. And as you can see, like, even though the Spirit is being spit by Julian, like, the board presence is very much worth it right now. But a second Exaltus is run out. Nothing being played, no Nexus play right now. You have an Argo being cast out. I'm assuming that the Exaltus was attacking into the Astrabit. So now we're going to have a Necklace of Harmonia likely empowering the Astrabit on the opponent's, on Julian's field. What does Daimax have in counter to this? Do you think they have a post set Argo as well?
I'm hoping so. I've been wanting to see a game of Argo Chicken, and this is the perfect time for a game of Argo Chicken. And that could be huge, because that means that then Daimax, if they can get that Exaltus to survive until their next turn, has a clear Nexus bank to just be able to get whatever Ethereal Celestial they want. I'm hoping for Celestlio. I really want to see a Celestlio hit the board.
Well, the thing there is that it has to survive the next turn. Exaltus is a fragile Celestial. Absolutely not weak. It searches like nobody else's business, similar to Kamalis. But the fact that it's only a 3-2 instead of a 4-2 makes it much more vulnerable. And the attackers go through. So that's 2 Exaltus being spent already. Even though the spirit count on Julian is pretty low, Daimax has been losing every exchange so far. Seems as though Julian's option to go second is paying dividends for them going into the next turn.
Yeah, Julian's in control here. I don't think we'll be seeing whatever crazy thing Exaltus is going to find, unfortunately. But we still have not seen a lot from Daimax, so there still could be some surprises in store for us.
I mean, I'm always surprised by Exaltus.
Fair enough. Wait.
What? Wait.
What?
Wait, are we scooping?
Just scooping right away? Daimax probably wanting to keep the secrets of his deck close to his chest just to try to surprise Julian in game 2.
The next game is going on. I'm not sure who's going first at this moment. It looks like Daimax is going first once again. And Estrada to start is much better. I see spirits from in the underworld from Julian. Looks like that was an expend to draw. So an expend to draw, but Daimax not going attack rabbit is an interesting choice.
Probably playing a bit more defensive after last game, just kind of getting rushed down. Just kind of wants to set up a defense. But again, maybe whatever Daimax is trying to do, it makes sense to set up a defensive wall to help set up, and we just don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest part. The only thing we saw is Exhausted, so we know that there is Ethereals being played. So what Ethereal? I mean, we could have seen a Lestragon build.
Potentially. I mean, there's a ton of great Ethereals in that deck that you can search out. Even just being able to find follow-up 1 cost to cast out can be strong.
That's a Lumavu being cast out. Not enough to take out the Estrada on its own, but if Julian does have a Zeus in their hand, then this is a threat for Daimax that they need to be prepared for. But nope, just going to be a cast out. And now Eddie is going to come down from Daimax, switching Lumu to defense. And now it's Daimax in the driver's seat. But I imagine Estrada is not going to attack as Argo comes out once again. Likely is a cast out side to the meter.
Julian just slamming down those sides, just saying, no, my Elestrals will not be defeated by yours. Though this time it looks like we will not have a conceit just off of establishing something with the Scythe, thankfully.
Well, that is going to bring Lumaru up not only to a 5 defense, but a 7 attacker. It's literally a Strabit without the expended 2.
Pretty much. Also, look at it sometimes as a pseudo Cryspore, since it's got the destroy effect. That's only when it's an attack, and that's 7/5 stat line. But that's a scary Lumaru. Those mills also could be devastating.
Yeah, you really want to be wary of those mills because your whatever deck secrets you're hoarding could be revealed from those mills alone.
I'm still wanting to see Celestial. If it's like a 1-of and you mill it, whew.
Spectera. So now the entire board of Daimax is threatened. Spectera's over the Eddie and Lumaru over the Estrada to mill 3. So do we have a Achilles bouncing? All right, that's really good. Getting rid of the Scythe of the Meter by bouncing the Lumaru with Shield of Achilles. And now Spectrus was able to get over the Eddie. That's going to be pretty much it as Daimax cast their own Lumaru.
Water enchanted though.
And Zeus. So really wants to make sure this Spectera goes down one way or another. Will we see a counter shield by Julian?
We'll see. Playing around that tsunami and nope, just letting it go. But at the same time, I don't know if you're Julian, you mind all that much because you get to stay just low to the ground. You know you can heal up, probably stabilize from this, and hey, maybe even has a Cryo Blast just to snipe out that Lumaru right away.
That is Luminate being pulled out of the Spirit deck to cast out. Is that another Lumaru?
Yeah, I mean, the shield did bounce it, so just repeat.
And that's a destruction, and it's going to be a double mill. We have a shield.
Shield. I didn't see the final one.
A Galaxy?
Galaxair. Yeah, Galaxair.
Man, and no mill for Julian because it was not properly enchanted. But Calfmel does come out. Do we see Attack Rabbit? No. Being very cautious with the Distrab and honestly being down 1 game, I respect the caution.
Absolutely. And here, just being able to poke for 1. I mean, this looks like it might be a big grind game. Both are on quite a few heal tools here. But, well, really just both them being on Calfmel here. But who knows? Maybe Daimax also has some additional heal cards like Julian does.
Calfmel really has shined a lot on stream today, hasn't he?
Just following up from Dallas. I mean, can you beat that finals game in Dallas? Just Calfmel ascend, Heliolith?
We really are seeing just the remnants of Dallas in his entire tournament run. Like all round, we've seen shades of Calfmel and Argo everywhere. And now we have Argo finals once again as Quackle is being casted out by Julian to heal 3 Thunder Spirits from Underworld. But notice that the Quackle is not in the tackle, meaning that there's no real opportunity for offense coming out from Julian here, also shoring up their defense.
But notably, once Julian does get some offense, Daimax doesn't have any set cards, so that could potentially swing the game in Julian's favor.
Well, we have a re-enchant to Estrada right here. Let's see if that pulls out a set card for Daimax to utilize in the upcoming turns.
Daimax wasted no time picking that card. Probably saw something really good and was like, yeah, that's it. We're just grabbing that and going.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a Gorgon's Gaze and nothing else, I'm pulling Gorgon's Gaze. Why would you not?
True, especially if you can cut off your opponent from healing further. So, Calf Melt over the Quackle, though no attack Rabbit to take advantage of those 2 spirits, just passing it right back to Julian.
And I understand it. Really is playing cautiously right now, does not want to overcommit unless the field is absolutely safe. Rabbit in defense is doing a lot more for Daimax right now. Absolutely. As we see Calf Melt being cast out in defense, so now going to have to utilize that last spirit under Zeus in order to get over this Calf Melt if it gets allowed to do so.
And do we see a Gorgon's Gaze to prevent that healing, or do we just see it go through?
There's a lot of ways you can play, and it seems like both of these casters are really understanding the board state and what's going on. Like not much time is spent in each between turns trying to see what is going on. Like they understand this is where we're at. I'm going to make this play, and we're going to see what goes on in the next turn. So very 1-1 exchange of plays right now. The Zeus is going to weaken the Calf Melt. The Astrabbit finally goes to attack. Will Daimax grow to regret this?
Going on the offense, notably an expend to draw from Daimax as well.
Okay, the attack goes through. Calf Melt is going to heal 3. Let's see if Astrabbit goes through it and is able to hit for 2 as well. Attack is declared. I think something is being spent. Let's see. It's either being spent or expended. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I can see just letting it go through. Rabbit's in attack. Picking to be attacked over only 1 set card. Yeah, just letting it go through. Okay,
finally attack Astrabbit paying off for Daimax. Julian goes down to 11 spirits to Daimax 9. Has Calf Melt and Astrabbit on board with 1 face down that was likely pulled off of the Astrabbit search.
Yeah, we'll
2 face downs for Julian.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Julian does to get back on board here. This has been a crazy back and forth. Very different than that game 1, but just as we like to see it. But a Zeus coming down, that's really going to help grab backboard.
Yeah, that statue's used from the original Shadow Stars run. Beautiful art design. And only 2 Thunder enchanting it. That face down has to be really live for Daimax right now because clearly this offense threatening. We have an early disenchant with no Elestral on board. And Quackle. Is that a Quackle? So you have to assume that the Zeus went after the Astrabbit.
I would assume so. Just get those 2 spirits off the board. But I don't know. We'll have to see which one Julian attacks. That should tell us exactly who had their stats reduced.
Yeah, makes Daimax pay and regret immediately going for the attack Astrabbit. But Argo is set, paying off 2 Luminate for the activation. If Julian has a counter Astrabbit, a counter Argo for this play, then this is going to be a whole lot of trouble. Astrabbit goes up to 5 thanks to enchanting Necklace of Harmonia. Play goes back to Julian. Is there going to be an Argo declaration on their end as well? Seems like Daimax is reading Argo. Is there a discrepancy maybe?
I don't think so. The only thing I could think of is because of the Zeus sync, Astrabbit should be at 4 attack based on how stat modifiers work, but it doesn't matter here. Still can hit over that Quackle, and that's just going away.
So now we have 1 point of damage being taken because the Quackle is destroyed. 12-5, but a lot of spirits on board for Daimax. Notably, though, the Necklace of Harmonia is enchanted, but it looks like we're going for an Ascension over the Calf Melt to the Exaltus. This is great for 2 reasons. 1, we have it water enchanted, so now it's going to be immune to Tsunami. 2, the Calf Melt being ascended over is going to allow Daimax to heal for 3. If you can get this Nexus off, if there's no Gorgon's Gaze set, then this is going to be a lot of pressure. And it looks like Gorgon's Gaze is set, so 2 of those spirits just recovered from Calf Melt is going to have to go back, go to the Underworld at the end of this turn. But Astrabbit can't hit for 2.
Yeah, this, oh man, it just keeps teasing me with that Exaltus. I want to see what it's going to search, but maybe we will be able to see it next turn. We'll see. Maybe Julian, is that... Oh, that was for expend. Like, are we about to see a Lavalith? But no, just expending. And then Daimax. Wait, Daimax is down to 2 spirits? I'm keeping track.
I feel like it should be a little higher, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's 3 in the spirit deck.
I think there's 5.
A little bit more. Oh, the artifact! Heliolith coming down, and this is a devastating blow to Daimax. This is not something you want to have to deal with right now. Likely the Estrada is not going to hand because you're going to want to destroy that immediately, but it is returning to hand actually.
Well, that's the only way to get
Oh, you know what? It is Necklace and Ammonia Enchanted, so it makes sense. But still, though, that's going to run over the Exaltus, and that is a complete field wipe. Daimax with 5 spirits left in their spirit deck. It's not impossible, but there is still a back row set from Julian that we have yet to know if it's even live or not. So, board presence absolutely Poison Tunic. Poison Tunic! I've been calling him Poison Tunic for the longest time.
There you go.
Lowering Heliolith to 3. But is there a Heliolith in Daimax's hand to play on their own? There has to be, right?
I mean, even just an attacker to take out the Heliolith, that Poison Tunic becomes valuable, though Julian notably has a back row, so...
Heliolith!
Oh my gosh!
It has to be a Gorgon's Gaze to stop this. Heliolith bounces the hand and gets rid of the tutor, so now the artifact cannot come down, or Heliolith cannot come down on Julian's next turn. If this attack is successful, Daimax is back into the game with a face down set as well, and it looks like the attack is successful. We're here 4-1. Daimax is up against the wall and cannot afford any more misplays or spirits spent against his will. Julian looking for the right play here to get over a 5-5. It looks like
another Quackle.
The third Quackle hits the board. That is 9 spirits healed by Julian this game.
It's crazy. I mean, Julian now has
a Zeus in hand.
Double Zeus. I was about to say, I mean, you're probably fine just Zeus, Quackle, Crash, Heliolith, tell Daimax to use their final spirit on an Elestral, but now Quackle can just answer the Heliolith.
Julian seems to have been ordained by the divines to win this tournament. Everything that Julian did, and an Ambrosia as well. 12 spirits in this one game. 3 Quackle, 1 Ambrosia. Daimax has had none. Excuse me, he did have the calf bell heal as well, so that is 3. But clearly there's a disparity in what's going on here. And there's a lot more flexibility that Julian's been able to have just by having these Quackles, just by being able to continuously play out Zeuses. And now we have a situation where this Quackle is likely going to crash into the Heliolith, leaving Daimax with one spirit that they can use to play and try to make their recovery.
Absolutely crazy. And I was still caught up on the fact how good of a call Heliolith is into this meta with Argo. But Calfmole?
Wait, that's probably the best card he could have had. Because now it's like, yeah, destroy me. I'm going to get 3 spirits back. So how does Julian get rid of Calfmel without giving Daimax rejuvenation? I guess by playing defensive. That's where we're at now. So now, this is actually a really interesting situation. Daimax cannot ascend over to Calfmel. There's no spirits and spirit decks to do so. So Julian can continuously just shore up their options until they're ready to take down a Calfmel and deal with whatever may be coming next with a Gorgon's Gaze, a Poison to Arrow, a Shield of Achilles, whatever, and put Daimax on 0.
And I'm pretty sure we've seen a Spectress from Julian, so Julian really could just sit there, defensive rabbit. No, Daimax cannot proactively trigger this Calfmel. As you said, it cannot ascend until they find a Spectress, and that would be GG.
You would hate to pull an Ambrosia right now because, I mean, you're losing your only offense if you're Daimax right now. So if Julian can dig and find Ambrosia on their own, what do? We have a re-enchant of the Astrabit. Oh, wait. That's a solar onto it.
Oh, to be able to then bridge up into the Heliolith to bounce for game.
That is actually the win con. Looks like cards are being picked up right now.
I think Daimax recognized that that's just GG, cannot proactively deal with that rabbit, knew the Heliolith was coming down the next turn.
I say you wait. I say you wait and prove that, make Julian prove that they have the extra solar spirit in their spirit deck. If they do, then you can't do anything else. But this could just be a bluff. I guess we won't know here. It looks like the game is concluded. Julian takes finals of the largest webcam Premier Tournament 2-0.
And I am here with our newest champion. I am here with Julian. First of all, huge congrats. Incredible gameplay today.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
Tired, mentally just worn out. It was a long day. It was, 10 rounds? But
This has been, it was the biggest ever webcam event. So, Julian, I have so many things that I want to ask you. The first thing being coming off of Dallas, you were on this heel control list and you got to top 16. You piloted it all the way there, had some incredible games. But it seems like the list has evolved a little bit, some changes since then. Tell us about that.
yeah, so in my feature match on top 8, you can see I really just got destroyed. Calf mill was a really big problem for me. It's at 3-4, so it's a little bigger than the Quackle and the Sluggle. So I thought, why don't I play it? I also lose to Spectaris if you're on Galaxy. Why don't I play it? So I just switched out 3 Sluggles for 3 Calf Mills, 3 Galaxy for 3 Spectaris. Originally switched out the Eddies for Lumaroos, and then I switched 1 Lumaroo for a Heliolith. So it's the same ratios. 6 Water Spirits came out for 4 Solar, 2 Lunar. So it's in spirit the same deck. I just think that the Solar Lunar plays a little better than the Water.
I think it's really cool to see how it's changed. I mean, clearly in these matchups that we saw you in today, it really showcased how versatile it's become and how many different lines you have and different ways you can play the game.
Yeah, it's as soon as I lost top 8, Caleb, one of my testing partners, was telling me, maybe we should think about this. And even like on the ride home from Dallas, we were discussing how to change it up into this more Solar Lunar build, and talking about how other things we could throw in, like the Heliolith that we saw Bo succeed with. So there's a whole bunch of new plays you can do. You lose some stuff like with Eddie, but I think that it's overall a net positive.
And this heel control is a list that has been around since base set and has had many evolutions. It seems like you've now tapped into the newest one. How long have you been on this? What got you started on the heel control journey? Tell us about that.
So the first large in-person premiere, which was before Dallas, was in Atlanta. And my buddy Ren went undefeated through Swiss, undefeated all the way through Top Cut. I think he dropped like 1 game all day on heel control on the Water Thunder version. Caleb picked up the deck after that and went undefeated through Swiss and made it to top 4 in a premiere. And I was losing hard with my all gas Water Reanimator deck, so I thought, let me pick up this. They're seeing success with it, and I think this is my 5th top in a row now with it. So once I got started with it, I didn't stop.
Well, clearly you have learned how to be a master of this list, and it has been so fun to see you play all day today. Honestly, the number of times that not just me, but my co-commentators were popping off at the plays that you were making, the spirit management that you were doing. I mean, you've clearly put in the hours with this list.
There have definitely been some plays I could have made better today. Just not being as familiar with the Solar Lunar spirit math. With Water, it's all the same. Every Water Spirit's the same as each other. There's a couple times where I would have liked to have an extra Solar instead of a Lunar, but I think I have put in some time, and I think it's paying off.
You did an incredible job, and this begs the question. This is more, I'm curious. As we've said, heel control, this is a list that has been developing since base set. With Firestorm around the corner, has your testing group been cooking, coming up with new ideas? Anything that you could maybe hint at that's going to be changing with the introduction of Firestorm?
We're definitely cooking. I don't think there's anything we can share.
Okay, I got it.
Werepup is scary into the new Like a Void, but we can play that too.
Very, very exciting. And I know that you've shouted out a couple of your testing partners. Is there anyone else who you would like to thank? Anyone else who has been along on this journey? That sort of thing.
I want to say shout out to the Nimbug top 4. Thanks to my buddies Aaron, Sloan, and Claire. Thanks to my partner throughout all of today, my cat Shoebox, sleeping in my lap.
Oh.
Yeah, and then everybody who tests with me at locals, in our Discord. Couldn't do it without y'all.
Well, incredible. And again, congratulations. This has been the biggest webcam tournament of all time in Elestrals history. And you are the champion. Congratulations. Well deserved. Incredible games today. And it has been truly a joy to watch you play all day today.